Hello, welcome to Tales from the Bridge. My name is Tristan.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Hannah.
And this month it was my pick for the letter J, and I chose one of the greatest science fiction films of all time, Jupiter Ascending.
I wasn't sure if you were going to put your just kidding in there. I didn't want to talk over you.
You know what? This is a film that we definitely are going to go to town on. There's a lot to critique about this one because it's not a very good film, so we hope that people can have fun making fun of this film a little bit with us.
Yeah, the pickings were slim for the letter J, but first we are going to get into some honorable mentions.
And be sure to stick around for the end where you find out the next film we're going to be doing.
And as always, please review the show, rate the show, send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening today. All right, let's make our way over to the bridge. All right, let's start things off by talking about some other films that start with the letter J that may or may not be better than Jupiter Ascending. I mean, I don't know. J was a very difficult category to choose from. There aren't many. There's one obvious one, which we're probably going to have to talk about, which is science fiction adjacent, I think. But let's hear it. Ryan, how about you? What do you got for the letter J?
Yeah, I'll leave the one that you sort of like ominously alluded to alone for mine, even though that would be what I would say. And I'm going to go with Judge Dredd. This is actually the honorable mention I want to throw in there, and it's kind of a twofer also because I don't actually care for the Stallone one, but I do like its namesake Dredd, the new one with Carl Urban is actually like really quite good and quite fun. It's a lot of it's a popcorn film, but it's great. So Judge Dredd, that whole franchise was my honorable mention just because they're silly, like over the top, obviously action movies, and I love the comics when I was a kid. So
yeah, I can't say I've ever seen Judge Dredd. 2012, I think I worked at the cinema when it's Dredd 3D. With Carl Urban. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I worked at the cinema then, so I probably have seen snippets of this movie when I was doing cinema checks, and it didn't entice me enough to want to sit down and view the whole thing.
No, that's fair. I mean, it is very much and intentionally very over the top, like ultra violent, ultra gritty future kind of stuff. But just as a production, and Urban really brings it as well. As silly as the character is, he does a great job.
Well, there's only one way to go, and that's down. My honorable mention is Jumper. I think I've seen Jumper. Hayden Christensen, back when they were still trying to make Hayden Christensen happen. I think this was the thing that really tipped him over the edge is not going to happen. It's a Doug Liman film, and he kind of like travels through time or can jump from one place to it's a hard letter, okay? And I can vaguely remember it. That is what I'm going to limply throw into the ring.
It also felt like it was from that time when people were throwing sci-fi stuff at the wall a bit, right? Like there was, and they
totally,
were like
sure.
single concept movies, right? Like, what if a guy could do this? Let's make an entire movie around.
Everyone just wanted it to be the next Matrix. So, like, have the budget, do the thing.
Yeah.
Put Hayden Christensen as your front man.
It's Hayden Christensen's fault that we don't get good movies anymore.
Let's a hot take, but
I will say Johnny Mnemonic, another like shortcoming. Mind you, this movie's 30 years old now. This would have been like the mid 90s. It's a not bad film. It's not that good. I like that it's based on a William Gibson short story, which is great. The world building is kind of good, but it didn't have the budget. It was kind of silly. But Johnny Mnemonic, that was a kind of a cool movie at the time too. It's kind of just what's with the letter J?
Hey, Spielberg, there's a gap that you can fill.
Well, yeah, maybe that's why.
Well, he kind of did.
Yeah. So I guess we should just
so we should
there.
talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, there's not much to say on my part because what can you add to a film like Jurassic Park? One of the great adventure films of all time, I would say, and one of the greatest films with special effects that still today, a lot of those shots are just like, why the hell how do our films still don't look as good as this? Jurassic Park was a near perfect film, in my opinion. I even kind of like the second one a lot as well. I shouldn't say kind of. I do like the second one. I think it was also very good. No problems with The Lost World, Jurassic Park. But at the same time, I mean, if you don't already know about Jurassic Park, you don't need us to talk about it right now. There's just everything else is out there. But anyway, everyone knows about Jurassic Park anyway. What else can we say?
I think it's technically a monster movie. I think more of a monster, less of a sci-fi. So it's another reason why I'd be hesitant to pick it for this podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And I can't get into the Back to the Future argument again, but the science exists merely as a springboard for the rest of the movie, right? And it's funny too that this came up on this episode because as I was trying to pick K, which I'm not going to spoil my pick, but when I kept looking at lists of sci-fi movies that start with K, King Kong ended up on almost all of them, which again I would struggle to make the argument that that is a sci-fi film also, right? Like that's very much a monster movie, in the same way, right? Just so happened that in Jurassic Park, yeah, it was science that got us there, but it's not why we stay, right? Like I'm not like, man, I fucking love Jurassic Park because of the science, right? Like no one's there for that. So anyway, yeah, no, for sure.
Still, it's a rare occasion where we can say that we chose Jupiter Ascending over Jurassic Park.
All right. Well, it was my pick. And as we've just seen, Jay was a very difficult letter to choose from when it comes to a sci fi film. And I chose one that I really wanted to like when I heard about it. I liked the Matrix films. All three of them. They were the second two were whatever. Okay. I still liked them though. They fulfilled the story. I liked what they tried to do. The first one was obviously the best one. And then Cloud Atlas in 2012, I love that film. I thought that was great. And that was the Wachowski siblings along with another director. So there was three of them doing that one. And I thought that was great. The science fiction segments in that film were fantastic. I loved the writing. I read the book as well, and that's one of my favorite books. I just love the way that's written in so many different styles from David Mitchell. So I love that film. So when I heard they were doing another science fiction film that was an original story and it was a space opera, different planets, different aliens, this was like really exciting. See, now I'm just going on about it because I feel like I have to justify why I chose this film. So the plot, I mean, if you were to just look at the IMDb, here's the plot. A genetically engineered soldier informs a young woman of her extraordinary destiny. That's I guess that's kind of the plot. There's just so much more going on that it just becomes convoluted. You don't know what's happening. And then by the time you do know what's happening, you realize how flippin' simple this thing is, like, and how silly it is. So when it comes to flying rollerblades, or flying blades, I guess we got to take the rolling out. The unlikable characters with no depth, the special effects, which are good at times and then just like cartoonish at others. I don't know what to think of this film. I don't know how it got made. I mean, greenlit, that's one thing, but then made and like it came to the theaters and this is what we have now. I don't know how the Wachowski siblings managed this. There must have been a lot of faith in them, but I am curious to see what you guys think. And I'm sorry that I went on there. I honestly feel like I need to justify why we've done this, but I hope we can have fun poking fun at this film and maybe, taking note on what makes a bad film. We can talk about what makes a good film all day long, but maybe today we talk a little bit about what makes a bad film.
So I think this sort of trails onto what you were talking about it and being difficult to describe and a little bit messy. So the very first time I saw the movie, which was a while ago, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know it was an original work, first of all. And I came out of it assuming that it was based on like a high concept sci-fi novel that I had never read. And I felt like that because there was so little like exposition and so many things that seemed to be like assumed that I would just know about where they were and who they were. And like it seemed like this movie was made for someone who had read a book that was never written. And it was confusing because of that, because when I then found out that it was an original work specifically for the screen, I was baffled. I was like, how did you manage to 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 fall so short when you specifically wrote it for the screen, like knowing the medium it was going to be used in? Like, I've seen bad book adaptations, and sometimes things just don't transfer to a medium very well, but this was specifically created for this medium, which is what made the mess even more confusing. um Anyway, yeah, there's lots to say, but that was sort of my first like, huh?
Yeah, baffling. Look, I can list the amount of films that I have walked out of the cinema on one hand, and Jupiter Ascending is one of them. So I don't walk out easily, okay? I was forced to rewatch it for this podcast, and I thought that maybe there was a chance that 10 years on, my movie knowledge had increased, my mind was a little bit more open, and it wasn't the steaming pile of shit that I remembered it being. Um, no, no, no. It's everything that I remembered and worse, because this time I had to watch it all the way until the end. And I think what would be really interesting for us to get into on this podcast is why was it so bad? How could it be so bad when The Matrix was so good? Because like Ryan said, I also assumed, I'm like, oh, this is based on a book that they've obviously adapted poorly. They've not interpreted it correctly. But no, as you said, written for the screen. So I can't even place the terribleness on my poor lack of prior knowledge as a viewer.
The
It's
only thing I had thought maybe, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it had the feeling of maybe they had expected it to become another franchise, right? So I wonder if part of the expectation was we will fill in some blanks later,
yeah.
maybe like we'll just get everybody hooked with this incredible story, and everyone's going to be in, and then we can sort of like flesh it out, as we go, sort of thing, right?
I also
Um,
think that the studio would have had a lot of trust in the Wachowskis at this
mm,
time too, or maybe not a lot because Speed Racer didn't do that great, and then Cloud Atlas didn't do super great, but it was critically accepted. It passed. So I think there was a lot of trust to be like, you know what, let's give them the $150 million to make this, and they've got to pull it off. So I
Yeah,
think it was.
maybe
I
after The
wonder if it was more
Matrix,
trust. Yeah.
maybe after The Matrix, they got like a 3 film deal. And so they were just all in, because I, my impression is that nobody reined them in enough. And I did read that when, because The Matrix was the first, right? The Matrix was the groundbreaking one of the 90s. It re-entered everybody back into sci-fi. It was high concept, but it was one singular idea, and it was very straightforward. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was very honed in, and we were just talking about one world that we had to understand. And I think that I remember reading that the Wachowskis got a lot of notes from the studio that it was too big, too big, too big. Keep bringing it down, keep bringing it down. So I think there was a lot of studio input on The Matrix to streamline it. Then it's a huge success. And then you can see some of that craziness, extra stuff that maybe they wanted in the first movie that made it into the second and third. And then, yeah, like you said, there's all right, you did it with The Matrix, we'll give you the money. And nobody gave them enough notes for Jupiter Ascending. Nobody reined them in. Nobody said, this is so much CGI, you guys. Are you sure that you want this much
Yeah.
CGI?
Okay, so let's go through a few things here. Let's talk about the theme, because there's a really powerful theme in this film. So what is it? What is it? What's the theme?
Rejecting your destiny. I don't know.
Don't, I think
Being,
it's don't reject your destiny. I don't, is that even the theme though? Like really? She would like
are you kidding? Like, the amount that they hammer the point home that she's just an ordinary girl. I like dogs. I clean toilets. Like, it's just constantly rammed down our throat that, like, you don't have to be what is prescribed for you.
But she cleans toilets at the end. She's happy with that life,
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
which is the
Like,
weirdest. Who would do that? What?
who would choose that? Yeah. Like,
Oh
I
my
get it
God.
if you don't want to be a space princess, but you could probably stop scrubbing rich
Toilet.
people's toilets.
There's got to be a middle ground, is what we're saying, right?
Yeah,
Like, there's got
that's
to be a happy medium between, cleaning shit and using planets as commodities, right? Like, there's got to be, yeah. And that,
okay.
I also don't understand how you can name the movie after the person, make that person arguably the focus of the entire narrative, and yet not make me care about them even a little bit.
Yeah.
Not even a smidgen.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild.
She
Absolutely,
is,
yeah.
we're talking about Mila Kunis as Jupiter Jones, which is a
But you could also say this
stupid
about all the
fucking name.
characters.
It's a
There's no
Marvel name.
depth to a single character.
She infuriated me, and please pull me back in if I go on too much of a rant, but she really, really infuriated me because the whole film was just her getting rescued. Every single time there was a big action scene, it was Jupiter getting rescued, and only at one point in this film did she have the wherewithal to take control of her destiny and say, no, i've got to I've got to rescue my family. I've got to do the right thing here. That was the only time that she made a decision. And then guess what happened as a result of that decision? She had to get rescued.
She got to
It's
get rescued. Yeah.
absolutely infuriating what a weak female lead she is. The character is so poorly written and probably sent women's rights back. At least 3 years, right? Like, I'm not talking dramatic, but maybe just 3 years.
Okay. Okay. So there's not a whole
Tristan's
lot
like,
to.
I'm not touching
Yeah, not
that.
gonna touch. Yeah, definitely not touching that. Okay, we're just
It's
gonna.
so boring to even
Okay.
get into.
Well,
What
and
Yeah.
can we also just appreciate for a minute that they once again made a sci-fi story about using people as batteries?
Yes. Yeah.
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 Like,
Basically.
come on.
Yeah.
Like, come on. They literally made
Yeah.
the little cylinders look like batteries
Yeah.
that they put the goop in.
Yeah.
It's like,
So, and when it comes to direction, everything I think we're talking about and complaining about here comes down to direction. So, do we need to go further into direction?
I just anything that I'm going to say is going to be so negative.
Yeah.
And I think
We're
and
gonna.
I think it does have a lot to do with what Tristan alluded to earlier, which was, you know, is the reason why we dislike this film so much is because it is so disappointing to see a film come from these, I mean, you could say visionary directors from The Matrix, right? And such high expectations to to so drastically not meet those expectations. Is that the reason why we hate this film so much? Like, if it was just, you know, a run of the mill director who does all apocalypse movies over and over straight to streaming, we wouldn't be so offended. Is it because it's the Wachowskis that we've got such an issue?
well, and it falling short, since we're talking about direction, in the wheelhouse of direction also so much, right? Like, if we're going to talk about all the ways that the movie fails, focusing on the direction in general definitely has to be a piece of it, right? And because, again, going back to what the reason I thought this was based on a book was, we're given so little as an audience, both visually and narratively, to understand why we're in a place, who's there, why are we there, where are we going next. Like, we should be able to feel a pace, and like, I should not be surprised by every scene. And I was almost like, I got whiplash from going from place to place so much and meeting this person and that person and not having an understanding or a thread to follow the whole time. And yeah, that is troubling, because you almost wonder if it had more of a depth hand, right? Like, if it was maybe carved a little more easily, like, yeah, maybe we wouldn't care necessarily about the story, but we could probably have followed it a lot easier than it ended up. Like, it could have maybe felt a little more coherent than it ended up being, instead of just being like, wait, why are we here? Who are these people? Why are they talking about this? Why does this matter? Which is how I spent most of the film.
So I really enjoyed the idea of the space bureaucracy scene. you know, when they go and they're trying to get her, I don't know, make her queen or something. I didn't care that much about what they were doing. I might have been scrolling my phone and then looked up halfway through the scene. But what I saw of it, I liked, where they're getting passed around from pillar to post. To try and constantly hitting red tape. It's like a kind of a DMV kind of situation where there's just endless red tape for them to get to. It was well done. I thought it was a giggle. I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for reminding me that that scene existed in the movie, actually, because I also really, not only did I enjoy it, but there it had like a little bit of a like, well, there is a isn't the director of Brazil in one of the scenes? Isn't Gilliam? I think he plays a character,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
Terry Gilliam
Yeah,
plays one of the
Gilliam's in
fellows
it.
that does all the stamping, and it's filmed, and
Yes.
it looks like one of his films. Yeah,
Yeah, it's got that very sort of like tongue-in-cheek, almost Douglas Adams-ish as well, like a little bit of that sort of, yeah, like that. Yeah, actually, yeah.
it was
Thank you for reminding
comedic.
me that was in there. Yeah,
It
that was
it
actually
didn't
quite a bit
fit
of
in
fun.
the film, but it
No,
fit as a little
but it
segment, a
was a nice
comedic
little.
segment.
Absolutely, yeah, it was. That's right. Thank you, Hannah. A
I
little
couldn't tell if it
sunshine
was
there.
in there. You saying that there was an association with Terry Gilliam, that totally makes sense. It's like a puzzle piece falling into place. That really clicks for me because I couldn't tell if like not just this scene, but for a lot of scenes actually, like is it supposed to be ironic? Is that what am I completely missing the fact that this is supposed to be done with full irony and maybe that was the intention and it just didn't land?
I feel like there's too many other pieces that don't fit in that
Yeah,
framework
like
for that to make
why would
sense.
the queen of the universe have to go through that process? Doesn't even make sense in the first fucking place. Like what are you what?
Yeah, the only thing
So
I
as
can
much
think
as
is they
it's a
were,
fun
yeah.
scene, it still doesn't fit what you wrote.
Yeah, it
I
didn't make
mean,
no sense.
the only thing it does sort of match up with is the idea that if you are actually trying to figure out what all of those terrible siblings are fighting over, right? Like what they all really want in the end, which is also a very confusing thing, is just the idea that like the commodification of life, right? That's what they've done. Like they've turned people and life into things that they can just harvest, and but the and so maybe that's part of it, right? Like the corporatization of the universe, right? It's all just transactional now. Everything, like life is transactional. Everything is a bureaucracy. It's all just a big machine, chewing people up and spitting them out. I don't know. I'm probably just doing it too many favors, but yeah.
It's a nice attempt.
So in terms of performances, I've got a couple. I'm gonna say some bad. I'm gonna say something good before some bad because we just say so much. We've been saying so much bad stuff in this with this film. Um, I liked how the guns were like lasers and not bullets. I liked how it was like zip, 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 zap, zap, zap. That was easier for me to listen to and take
Oh
instead of hearing
man,
like
we're really
machine
clutching at
guns.
straws.
Yeah, so that was a really good part about this film. And then I just want to go to the performance of, I think, a really fantastic actor, Eddie Redmayne, is capable. He's a very good actor, I think. I haven't seen a whole lot, but he seems fine. Oh my God, is he so obnoxious in this film? Like, I don't like it was like he acted way too hard and he just didn't know how bad this movie was going to be that it made him look silly acting so hard on this one, man. Like his voice, the way he spoke, he was so unlikable, which was obviously intentional because he's the baddie. But like, oh my God, it was like so unlikable. You're supposed to kind of like the bad guy a little bit. There's got to be something that you like. I found like actually repulsive in many ways, just like I didn't even want to look. What's going on with your face, man?
I was just gonna say I literally have a note that just says I hate everything Eddie Redmayne did. Sorry, it's not insightful, but I literally have that sentence in my notes.
No, here's what's great. So, not Eddie Redmayne, obviously, but 2015 was the year that Mr. Redmayne won the Oscar for Best Actor for The Theory of Everything. So, the same year that Jupiter
It
Ascending
was
comes
within the
out,
same
and
month. That would have been
was
within the
it?
same month of this movie being released.
Oh, the ceremony, right? Yeah.
The ceremony, sorry, yeah, the ceremony for the Oscars would have happened within a month of this film being released.
That's wild.
Yeah. It
Ew.
is incredible. So he
Oh.
wins it for his portrayal of Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything. Meanwhile, check him out in the cinema chewing the goddamn scenery all over the place in Jupiter Ascending. Yeah, again, I think his intention was with this character was to be ironic and over the top, and I think he took a big swing and I think he missed. If you're going to miss in a movie, it may as well be this piece of shit, right?
Yeah, no one was expecting anything anyway, I guess. But yeah, wow. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yikes.
Now, usually we talk about writing, dialogue, structure, and pacing. I mean, it's so hard to do this because we're just, I mean, I don't, one thing I want to point out about the writing, why the hell, oh my God, the scene and the one character, the cousin of Jupiter who tries to sell her eggs.
Oh, that's my mate. He's Australian. He's in one of my favorite
Oh
Australian
my God.
movies.
He is so he's an obnoxious character in this film. Why is he taking advantage of his cousin that badly, selling her eggs and keeping most of the money for himself? And why is she so like oblivious to allow this to happen and to actually go to a hospital for this to go through the procedure? Like just because she wants
She's
a
stupid.
fucking telescope.
Maybe,
And then hold on here. Why why is that scenario even in a fucking movie? Why is that in a movie? Why are we what?
yeah. I have to say the cousin, the Australian guy doing a fucking awful American accent is Kit Gurry. He was also in Edge of Tomorrow, which we reviewed in one of our previous podcasts. But yeah, like the only thing that I can explain that down to is that like this is us starting to understand that she's stupid. And she can be very easily taken advantage of. Maybe that's what this is, because that's continuously what happens in the film. Like she is trusting all of these alien siblings with her destiny when it's just so obvious that they're bad guys. Like we have one scene as an audience where we meet the siblings and we get a vibe, okay, they're up to no good. But like come on, man. Use your head. Like don't marry this dude. He is definitely going to take advantage of you and kill you instantly when this is finishes. But she can't figure it out for herself. Channing Tatum has to figure it out for her. I mean, side note, if I had the opportunity to get rescued by Channing Tatum, I probably would put myself in danger often. So there's that.
Well, let's talk about Channing. That guy, wow, this is his worst film by far. He's not a bad actor. He's actually quite good and he's actually very funny too.
Mm.
It's disappointing to see him in this film and you can tell that he's also disappointed in this film. His makeup was bad. It just looked dumb. Like
So distracting.
how do you put this guy on set with this makeup? It looks stupid. And one of the easiest things to make fun of, man, or like, I mean, I'm sorry, I knew we were going to make fun of this movie and go to town, but oh my God, I mean, you get kind of worked up over it being so bad. But the flying rollerblades, I'm sorry, but like, if you had that idea for a movie today, it'd be stupid. If you had that idea 20 years ago, it would sound stupid. If you had that idea in the 80s or 90s, it still sounded stupid. So I don't understand where anyone said, "Oh, so he has like boots that are like rollerblades." What? How did you make that a main part of this story? Like if they are jet boots, then they should just work as jet boots. But he still used them like they were skates, like he had to take off from something. Like they're skates. There's nothing to take off from.
I think if we have to find something to like applaud, maybe in this film, it's that Channing Tatum had to do the hard work of sky skating
And
because
live
I
with this
can't
actor.
imagine going to set every day and having to take myself seriously every single day with that, yeah, with the
With those
terrible,
boots on
terrible
and that
makeup
makeup.
Yeah.
and the boots and Yeah, it's
Yeah.
and
At
just
what point do you
How?
think that the penny dropped for the cast? Was it during filming? Was it when they're in like when they're getting their costumes? Like they're going in like, oh, we're gonna do your fitting, and they're like, oh,
well,
start pulling out
there's
their
a
colors a little bit.
apparently a press tour question where someone literally asked Channing Tatum like, so like, what do you think this movie's really about? And his comment was, I'm still trying to figure that out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, but like that was essentially the vibe
No, I
of
think
his
I heard that
response.
as well.
Like he's yeah, like he knew,
He
right? Like
knows.
they all knew, unfortunately, right? And like, and I wonder if that's also kind of what we're feeling that like everybody, even in the process of making this thing, was like, whew, okay, like
I don't know.
I mean, there's something to be said too for just being able to be like, I mean, at least before they made it, to be like, I'm in a Wachowski film. Like it was a thing,
It
right?
had to
Like,
be a draw. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, it had to be for sure.
And it was
Uh,
rolling the dice too. It could have been a really good movie. It could have.
yeah, oh, absolutely. Like if you just had the pitch, right, and you're like, yeah, be attached to a Wachowski movie, giant, like like huge budget, absolutely, right? Like who wouldn't want to kind of hitch their wagon to it, and then yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
The Wachowski siblings went on, actually they didn't. Only Lana Wachowski went on to do the fourth Matrix movie. And if you don't mind just jumping over to that one, because I mean we could, if you guys have more on Jupiter Ascending, we can still go. But I find the fourth Matrix movie to be a similar conundrum of throwing a lot of money at a very poorly made film. Now, I like The Matrix, so I kind of like parts of The Matrix. I like how they did the fourth wall thing. I like how it made fun of itself. I kind of like the angle they took with the Matrix movie a little bit. But then it just got sillier and sillier and sillier, and it just falls apart. It's not even fun to watch. And the biggest thing with this is, and I'm not a filmmaker, so I don't understand how are the fighting scenes, the fight scenes, the kung fu and the gun scenes, how are the scenes from Jupiter Ascending and even the new Matrix movie, how are they so much poorer than the first Matrix movie? Why did 1999 The Matrix have these wonderful fight sequences that look so good, choreographed so well, and filmed so well? Why did they look so good, but after having 20 years of practice they look worse? What is that? What do you think's happening there? Is that laziness or what's going on?
I don't know the answer. The only thing I could maybe attribute it to is that from what I read, the Wachowskis are much more interested in fairy tales, kind of fable stories, than they are in science fiction. Sure, that the stories will have a science fiction edge, but maybe for that reason, hand to hand combat just not a priority. And again, maybe there was some real heavy studio notes for Matrix, like let's ramp this up again in a little bit. Let's get a fight coordinator and let's spend a little bit of extra money on this. The violence of the Matrix is a very very hot topic in like the history of cinema and also its impact on modern society. A lot of people will reference it for how gun heavy it is, right? Maybe there's some of that criticism tickering around with the Wachowskis. Like, let's kick it back a bit. Let's ease it. But I know you're saying like, for lack of a better phrase, they don't pack as much of a punch as the original Matrix did. But maybe there's a let's shy away from violence thought in there. Maybe.
There's still lots of fight scenes. They just look like they were filmed from a camcorder on like a sport mode. Like the
Oh, okay.
quality looks worse.
I think too, a lot of it has to do with so in the first Matrix movie in particular, and I mean for all of them technically. So Yuen Wu Ping was the fight choreographer and cinematographer for all three of the original trilogy, and he was also involved in the fourth one. But he also had Chad. I can't remember. Anyway, I can't
Chad.
remember. He's the guy who did the John Wick movies. Anyway, he's the choreographer for the John Wick movies.
And he actually
Um,
plays Trinity's husband in the fourth Matrix movie.
oh, okay. Well, the only reason I mention it is because I feel like a lot of it has to do with a lot of those original movies were a lot of like practical wire work, right? It was practical wire work, and it was a lot of real physical wire. Whereas I feel like as it went on, like those are time consuming, expensive shoots, right? They take large crews. There's a lot of room for error, and I'm wondering how much now they sort of breeze through the choreo and then just like edit it. You know what I mean? Like if there's more digitizing to the fight scenes than there were before, whereas before they were forced to film them more practically, and maybe that's why they felt more visceral and more. I don't know though. I'm literally just
You would
spitballing.
think though that this would be a lesson learned. Like, guys,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can
no, for
spend
sure.
the extra few days on set. Let's do the wire work. Let's do
Yeah, I
the
don't know. Yeah,
let's I don't know. It's
yeah.
it actually kind of, maybe this sounds counterintuitive, but when we talk about films like these bad films, and you can just pick out so many bad films, the new Avatar now, which are just visual spectacles. That's all anyone ever says, but they're void of anything else at all. I find Jupiter Ascending falls in the same category, but that in some ways that does excite me. That does excite me to think we are around the corner, hopefully, from realizing that that's not. We just don't make movies like this. They suck. Actually, the fact that the Avatar movies do make so much money is probably not what I'm talking about then, because they're going to keep making them. But they suck. Like, what's going on here? Where are the good films, the new ideas? Oh, no, now I'm getting all mopey. I want good films, guys. I want good stories. I want good characters. I want to be filmed properly. Why don't they do it anymore? It's wild.
We are approaching 2026, which will be the year of Project Hail Mary. And maybe that will be our Hail Mary. Maybe that will be the film that we're like, it's still happening.
Hope you're right.
And the Odyssey, hopefully. Fingers
And the
crossed. All my
Odyssey.
fingers crossed.
Did you guys check out the trailer?
No, I'm purposely not watching
And
like
we have a
anything.
new Spielberg film as well. We got to mention that.
And
There's also a new Spielberg.
Hmm.
All science
an,
fiction, fantasy.
an alien Spielberg. Yeah, exactly. Trailer for that
UFO,
just
yeah.
dropped as well. That was very exciting.
So this could be the year 2026. We move in with well, I don't know though. They're all still big budget and like, I don't know.
But it could spark something.
It could. So guys, were you left with any questions after watching this movie?
How can I get my 2 hours back?
Good, good. I never want my time back. I just wondered how in the first place.
How?
How?
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened? Do you think we surmised it? Do you think we figured it out? What happened?
No.
No. It's just a shit show.
Well, the studio didn't rein them in. Everyone
I
realized it was a gaff a weekend,
I do
and so
think
didn't bring it.
honestly, I think that Jupiter Ascending would be about the time when the Marvel movies started to get really big. Like they started to get really big. That's when you got the Civil War and then the Avengers Endgame. Like those ones came out just a couple years afterwards. The first one, whatever. I think that Jupiter Ascending contributed to why we don't get that many original stories with actual budgets. Same with Jumper. And that's not because they're original stories. It's because for some reason the original stories they're choosing and the filmmakers doing them don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's bad timing.
Mm.
Do we have any trivia or behind the scenes?
I did have two things
Okay.
for that. Your friend and mine, Jeremy Swift, was in this film, which I was like, really? For those of you who may not know, it's Higgins from Ted Lasso, is in this film. I was like
Okay.
delighted and horrified to see him playing. I think like he plays like the uncle, like the terrible uncle of the family, almost
Oh, that's
unrecognizable.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's because it just kept bugging me every time he'd pop up. I'm like, why do I know that guy? Anyway, and then the last one, which we've touched on a couple times actually, and it's just sort of the like progression of how much money the Wachowskis have cost Warner Brothers since The Matrix. So you mentioned the 3 movie deal. I don't know if it was actually a deal, but the 3 movies after that was Cloud Atlas and then Speed Racer and then this episode's namesake, Jupiter Ascending. So budgets versus box office. Those three movies combined cost Warner Brothers $230 million.
And I wonder, did they make it up for The Matrix? Did The Matrix bring in enough? Because I know
Don't
The
know.
Matrix brought in some, but not, it didn't do well, didn't do super well.
No idea.
The
But
Matrix will still be paying dividends. I can't imagine. Like, there's still merchandising. There's
Oh,
still
sure.
like,
And they have
it-
announced, by the way, there's going to be a fifth Matrix movie, and the Wachowskis are not necessarily on board. But Keanu Reeves has said that he will, and they're working on something now.
Interesting.
go on, Keanu. If he's in it, I'm watching it.
But he's
That's
such a
just it.
sweetheart. That guy.
Well,
Yeah.
if it's The
He'll just
Matrix,
do
I'll
it.
go. Even if
Yeah,
it's a hunk of
sure.
shit, I'll still go see a Matrix movie. I'll still go see a
And that's-
Wachowski movie because they're going to hit a home run soon, right?
That's how they get
Or
our
at least
money.
they can at least get a single or a double. Like, come on. They keep striking out. Well, no more bad movies, not for a long time.
Oh, hey. Whoa.
That was
Oh,
a one-off,
hey,
and
let's
that's all
not-
because it's the letter
Hey.
J's fault.
All right. Well, that brings us nicely into what our next film is going to be,
Holding my breath for this one, Ryan.
which is K, which is my pick. And I think it's possibly a film that none of us have seen. So my pick for K is a movie called Kin. It's a 2018 sci-fi movie. I'm not going to give any explanation about it. There's a bunch of different things that had kind of come up for it. One thing that if I didn't love you guys, I would have made you watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but I like you too much for that, so we didn't go
That's
with that.
I would have had fun with that one.
I don't know, man. It was like it was on my list at first, but I don't know. I thought it was maybe too much. So I narrowed it down to two that were sort of like I actually hadn't heard of either of them. They both came out around the same time. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with this. Kin, never seen it before. I don't think you guys have either.
I'm really excited to go into one blind. I think this will be fun.
Yep.
All right. Well, okay. So you're gonna watch Kin, and you're also gonna watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna watch
Done.
them both, and we're gonna do the
I don't
episode about
want
Kin.
to.
James Franco is in Kin.
Dennis Quaid is in Kin. I'll be honest with you. When it came down to the two Ks that I picked, I literally just went through the cast list and was like, "Do I know anyone in either of these films?" And Kin was the cast list that I was like, "Oh, I know these. I know some of these people."
And Michael B. Jordan. Okay.
We're gonna go with that. Yeah, exactly. So hey, you know what? It is what it is. I can't wait to hear the honorable mentions.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope you had fun with that silly little movie, Jupiter Ascending. What the heck happened? Lots more to come from Tales from the Bridge, movie episodes, book episodes, more interviews coming in 2026. Thank you for joining us today. Until next time.